Monday, March 4th, 2024 meeting of the Bellingham Select Board. We invite you to rise for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Flag.
Yeah.
I love to. That was fun.
Those are good cats too.
For those of you who are here in attendance or watching either on Cable 8 or on Zoom, we have a new segment as part of our meeting agenda that was approved by the board. And it's titled Citizens Input. The process by which to be included in citizens input is to contact the Select Board's office. Speak with Hillary. Number is 508-657-2800 or email Hallie, HALLIE at bellinghamma.org to reserve your spot. We have 2 spots that are generally set at 7 and 7:05. It's not to dissuade anyone from coming in person. However, it is our opportunity to schedule it and be informed and to be able to have an intelligent conversation. So at this point, if there's anyone in the audience that was not aware of that process and has any questions on the citizens input, we could entertain that now. And absent anyone bringing anything to the board, we will jump forward with our agenda. Mr. Martinez.
I wasn't aware of the process and I apologize up front, but I was just curious as to where.
Would you like to join us?
No, I just wanted to ask the board where you are in the process of finding a new town administrator. I know that Dennis has stepped in, has been doing an amazing job, but he has retired. And I'm just curious as to where the board is and their thoughts on, moving forward. Just curious, I know.
Sure. I'll give it a go if anyone wants to jump in. So we've had some conversations with Dennis about the logistics of our 2 previous 2-2 splits. It seemed prudent to wait until we had a 5-member board, which is why the process was not initiated up to this point. I've had some conversations with Dennis as to his original comfort level with whether we do it in June or extend it to a point further out into the year. I think once we have a 5-member board, we'll have more serious discussions about that. And then start the process. Obviously, Dennis being available gives us an opportunity to perhaps seek out more candidates and or continue with the process by way it's laid out.
Has there been, and I apologize, just a follow-up question, has there been any consideration since Dennis is here and he's helping out of maybe considering changing the initial requirements that you had for experience, for example, and consider bringing in someone with less experience that has, all the degrees and but hasn't worked a number of years, so that Dennis may be able to mentor that person. It might open the pool substantially. Maybe it'd be, and instead of it being a town administrative position, maybe an assistant town administrative position, because I know a few years back when I was on the board, we had started working with the town planner at the time, Mr. Cuffer, about potentially going into an assistant. Dennis would mentor, or Mr. Frank would mentor, and then he should slide in. So I'm just asking the board, maybe that's a consideration to start that process. So not to slow it down so that, the man sitting to your left and to my right can start to enjoy his retirement. So it's a thought that I think the town should consider, the board should consider. I mean, I know that's a conversation the board has, you'll have that with Dennis, but it's just a thought.
Would you like me to take that or would you like to?
We have had conversations about the outside for me would be next November. So the longest I would want to stick around. Obviously, if something came up, I would do whatever needs to be done. But I think I know I've talked with each of the members and we never really came up with the exact time frame. But I think the idea is to do the work over the summer, and certainly I think if we can find a candidate that's been an assistant somewhere and maybe is somebody like Jim was when Jim came and can be groomed, I think that would be something that everybody would be open to, nothing has been set in stone. I think
No.
Thank you.
way to.
Would you add anything to that? Yeah, I mean,
I had the conversation with Dennis 30 minutes, so just let's see how it pans out at the moment. It's, obviously, it's, and I think we all agreed, it's after the last process, it's, just wait a little bit at least. Put all the ideas all together, and then it's, we can move forward. And, either within a consultant firm and then with the Dennis's, while Dennis is around.
Yeah, I would think that on the, as we transition to a new board and we take up the vote for chair, that would be a discussion that would immediately follow, having known that we've had individual conversations with Dennis. Yeah. And I'd be happy to take that offline with you and. have a longer
No,
discussion.
I appreciate the
Yeah.
ability to ask the board a
Right.
question, thank you.
All right, we do have a public hearing that we have to read at 7:10, so that being the case, if we would like to jump around a little bit, and then maybe we can jump down to
Yep.
motion to approve gifts, grants presented by the CFO.
I move that the Board of Selectmen accept the gifts and grants as listed herein with said expenditures to be under the direction of the parties noted. Do you want me to read them?
You don't have to read them.
All right,
Just
They're all-
as detailed in the meeting minutes.
it's detailed in the meeting.
First and second, any further discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Some good work by the departments getting grants.
Yeah.
No, I've heard.
Especially the public safety, Chris has worked, deputy chief has worked on some and done some good work.
What would go to New England Country Club? Would like to make that motion.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the all alcohol beverages license. It's a seasonal license for New England Country Club LLC.
I second.
And a common vic weekday and Sunday entertainment license.
What was that?
The common vic
That's fine.
Oh, and the convict, sorry.
weekday and Sunday.
Yep.
Seconded, by Mike. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, 4-0. So, Bellingham Youth Baseball. Common victual license. Motion to, request a motion to approve and, to waive fees.
So moved.
Second.
First and seconded, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. And, last, before we get to the public hearing, the vote on the February,
We could do the secondhand dealer's license as well.
okay, yeah. We do the,
Minutes?
yeah.
Okay.
Motion to approve the February 5th board minutes,
Second.
first and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
And how about the, stop back for this one, the secondhand dealer's license for Town Line Power?
Hillary, all their taxes, everything's paid.
Yep, yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the secondhand dealer's license for Town Line Power.
Second.
First and seconded, any further discussion, seeing none, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, okay, we'll come back to those others. Huh?
Give them more time for the public hearing.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
yep, keep it going.
Yep.
Outback Steakhouse is easy.
Yep,
Yep.
He's online too. Jonathan Morville.
welcome, Jonathan,
How's everyone doing today?
very well. Anything out of the ordinary in the transfer of license,
No, just the change of manager.
change of manager, sorry?
Elizabeth Pisano here. I'm on behalf of the Outback Steakhouse. I'm from Upton, Connell, and Devlin. We are representing the applicant. This is a change of manager. There's nothing out of the ordinary here. Jonathan has been with the Outback for over 10 years. He has plenty of experience in the food and beverage industry. He is going to be on the premises 40 to 50 hours a week, and is familiar with the rules and regulations relating to the sale of alcohol of this town and also the ABCC. And we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
I don't have any.
I don't know what questions.
I don't have any either. It's pretty standard.
Motion to approve, Jonathan Murgo
as manager of Outback Steakhouse.
Second.
First and second, thank you very much for that update.
Thank you.
Gonna make this real quick and easy. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. About as easy as we can make it, folks.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
All right, now is 7:10. Dennis, just a question because of the length of this. Is it to be read in its entirety or just?
Typically you would,
Okay.
yeah.
In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 166, Section 22, and the Bellingham Code of Bylaws, the Bellingham Select Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, March 4th, 2024 at 7:10 PM in the Municipal Center Arcade Meeting Room on the joint petition of Verizon and National Grid for plan number 307-33791 to install one JO pole on Mechanic Street, beginning at a point approximately 17 feet south of the center line of the intersection of pole 33, Mechanic Street, and continuing approximately 108 feet in an east pole 33 and 100th feet west of P33 direction. Install underground facilities, ground rod 7/8 of off pole, install new pole 33-50, public property system improvements adding needed load break on P3350. Also for permission to lay and maintain underground laterals, cables, and wires in the mentioned public ways for the purpose of making connections with such poles and buildings as the petitioner may desire for distributing purposes.
No.
No. Is the petitioner online?
Can you hear me? This is National Grid.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hi, sorry, I couldn't connect in at first.
Okay.
Want me to review the job?
Well, maybe just briefly touch on if you're going to be impacting the road, if there's police details involved, and what the timing of this will be.
Yeah, it's on a main road, so there will be a police detail there. It's going to be off the sidewalk, in line with the current poles that are there. So as far as time frame of when the job's done, I don't have that information. That's something the schedulers and the designers work on when the crews are availability, have availability. But I would think it's several weeks out anyway.
33 Mechanic is further down. Is that like down by Joss?
Pole 33 on Mechanic Street. I think it's 121 Mechanic.
121, exactly where is that? What building is that?
It's by like the post office and Austrian.
So it's not impacting the street that was just recently paved or?
No, it's right on South, it's right on, one,
Close to the granite shop.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, close to Brian's Greenery.
Yeah, I
right?
think close to the
Yeah.
granite shop.
Any-
I'm assuming just from the,
Yeah,
No,
no,
both.
that's.
Yeah.
Any questions from the board?
Nope.
Okay, anyone in the audience have any questions? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
First and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Motion to approve the, request of the public hearing.
I make motion to approve the joint petition of Verizon National Grid on mechanics, for a J pole on Mechanic Street.
Second, first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Moving right along. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for attending, sir.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, we're good for,
Minute. You jump on something else?
I don't see that they were supposed to come in, they're not here yet, so the SAI resale price at 7:15.
Go on something else?
we can. Yeah, we can take care of, select board's annual appointments.
Okay.
Generally, we would have a two-tiered approach. One would be positions that the Bellingham Select Board can approve. The second would be the ratification of the town administrator's role, but where Dennis is serving as an interim, we must ratify all of them. Is that correct, Stephen?
Yes,
Okay.
but I do recommend all the ones under the administrator's recommendations, just for your information.
So, are we best to take them in totality or take them as two separate?
You
items?
can do, you can do one motion to, and have it be, I mean, and you don't need to read every single one, so you can say, I make a motion to appoint the, members listed on the Board of Selectmen appointments and the town administrator recommendations. Unless you want to read through all of them.
That sounds good.
We have that.
You don't have to,
No, I
no,
like
because
that.
I will, attach these to the minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so for the Board of Selectmen appointments, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different committees. I've been advised that they're all residents, so that my objections for that, for the non-residents, does not exist. Is there anyone that should be held before we take a vote?
As you can see, most of them are incumbents,
Yeah, no, I'm
3 new members.
no concerned on my end.
I have no concerns. I read them all.
Yeah, I'd rather move to.
And there's probably 15 on the town administrator recommendations, and I don't believe that there's anyone there, so. Motion to adopt in totality,
So. Second.
first and second, and all those in favor?
I,
Opposed, none. 7:15, in accordance with the Bellingham Code of Bylaws, the Bellingham Select Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, March 4th, 2024, 7:15 PM in the Municipal Center Arcade Meeting Room, 10 Mechanic Street, on the application of Akai Plus Brazil for common victual license premises located at 1 Mechanic Street. Is the applicant available?
He's not here. I talked to him this afternoon. He was supposed to be here, so I don't see him, right?
Tim, you know
I
something?
can speak to it if you'd like me to explain what it is. They're in front of you because they have 4 tables inside. So this is located right out front in Tony Corey's building, and this is the space that faces Route 140. So, excuse me?
Yeah,
Nail salon.
it was.
Yes. I think it was a little bit of a breakfast thing before that, or some kind of a.
Was a bakery.
Yeah, so, a young couple, took it over, and it's their first business venture. I think they're a young couple. They've met they've applied for all the permits. They've gone through the process. They've gone through the Board of Health, Fire Department, and they're here to get their common vic license for eating tables. They have, like I said, they have 4 tables. It's Brazilian style. I think it's
Yeah, you have the.
breakfast and lunch.
They're doing, we're serving Brazilian ice cream, smoothies, juices, drinks, snacks,
Yeah.
cakes. 4 tables with 4 chairs each table. And they came to me to have them sign their business certificate. And so once I started questioning what they were doing, I said, well, because you're preparing food and having someone eat it at the establishment, you have to,
Are you here
This is
for?
him, yes.
Please
Oh, shoot, come on in, sorry, have a seat.
join us.
We were just talking about your establishment.
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, sorry. Have a seat right here.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I was just about to say that I didn't want to support a brand new business unless they came before us.
Oh. There we go.
Yeah, like 15 minutes
Oh,
ago.
shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So we got the rundown from Mr. Iacardi about the business, so he spoke well on your behalf.
Thank you.
Maybe you can tell us in your own words about your previous experience and why that spot is attractive to you.
I mean, the first time when I moved into Bellingham, I moved in like almost 4 years ago. And I always looking for some Brazilian place that I can go and eat some Brazilian stuff, like from the mini market plus the, the acai bowl. A lot of people know about it, but I don't know if all you guys know about the acai bowl. But we're not looking for nothing too big because one is we don't have enough room for nothing too big.
Yeah.
And also, we're not gonna be selling like actually food from Brazil. It's just like some snacks. And there's acai bowl, like ice cream. And all the drinks, like Coca-Cola, Red Bull, some stuff like that. Kitchen is nothing too much in the kitchen for cook. It's more like heat it up.
Yeah, do you guys have a background in cooking this style of food, or have you done any trainings or certificates or anything
I
like that?
got my wife is the one who did all
Okay.
the services and all that stuff.
Okay.
I came here today because she has a meeting right now at 7 o'clock.
Oh, that's fine.
And I bring some papers in here, like insurance and all that stuff.
Okay.
And plus I bring some pictures from the place, how they look right now. And picture from what we're gonna serve. In case someone will take a look.
No, I'm good with
No,
that.
I'm
I'm
good with
excited to try it.
So Tim, I would just have one question. Is that parcel detailed as to how many parking spaces are necessary for that many businesses?
So they went through a site plan when he redid the building. And I'm sure they probably got a reduction in parking like most businesses do, because most of them can't meet our criteria for that, so they do give them a reduction. There has been no new businesses put in that building other than what it was designed for when it went through the site plan, so all the spaces are what were approved. And it did have a like business in there before, so it is a business use,
Yeah.
and it falls under that umbrella, so.
Okay. All right. Does anyone in the audience have any questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
First and second, entertain a motion to approve the common victual license.
Second.
First and second. We'll move along, get all that out. That would be-
I did. You signed his license.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. That easy, so.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you-
See all you guys
Did you
here
bring me
soon.
a copy of the insurance stuff, or is that your copy?
I got a lot of papers in here.
Do you want to stop by my office tomorrow morning?
I can
then?
do that because I didn't know, we just got today the insurance
Okay.
certificate. And my wife just sent me a picture of
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
okay,
information. I
yeah.
can print this and bring it to
That
you.
would be great.
Yeah, but I have everything,
Okay.
so
And then you were gonna bring me a check for
how much?
$25
Okay, no problem.
out of Bellingham.
Okay.
So tomorrow morning, and I'll have the license for you
What time's no?
before noon?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
Yeah, I can be here around 8:30 after I.
that's
drop
fine.
off
I'll be
my
here.
kid.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we done here?
Yeah, we're good.
What about my table? Can I get it?
Your table?
Yeah, like tables and chairs. Can I put like 4 there?
Yeah, you can do this 4 tables and chairs, right? Yeah, yeah. You're good. You're ready to,
That's what my worry.
okay. so you're-
You'll be here tonight.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All you guys there.
All right, thank
When are
you.
you guys opening?
Huh?
Are you guys open now?
We open on Saturday, but software,
I-
like share.
Yeah, I wanted
Get
to
the
wait and have
license,
people, yeah.
I will see you Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, if you are following along on our agenda, the Plan 725 is a discussion on funding of public safety item requests not included in the fiscal year 25 budget. We recently had a Saturday morning session, had a meeting with the majority of the department heads. We had previously done the fire department, and we still have on the docket the school committee.
Correct.
Yeah. And, yep, and at that point, Mrs. Otabashian brought this agenda item up, and because we were, they had no formal agenda, it was asked that this be added to this week's agenda, so to that, I would
Okay.
turn the floor over to you.
And I'm gonna let Chief Miller jump in, or Deputy Chief Miller when I get stuck, so.
Good evening.
After.
Good evening, Chief.
After we had listened to the chief and the deputy chief on what they needed, and we went through and we had said that it was not a feasibility at this point in time to add the extra people to do the program, which I think we all felt was a really good idea, this program of doing just paramedics for our ambulances, and that would free up our firefighters to be on the fire trucks. And the chief had explained how, the calls are just so great, and the fact that we have the longest town in the state of Massachusetts, which is 11 and a half miles long, 2.5 miles wide, it presents a huge challenge for our safety personnel getting from one place to another. So even if you're leaving from the center station and going north, that still presents a huge challenge to get there with all of the traffic and all of the lights and everything. And then to top it off, we are building like there's no tomorrow in the town of Bellingham. It's like, I don't know, people just feel like this is the place to be, which is lovely. However, you have to supply your safety personnel. Your public safety has to be able to keep up with what you're doing. Same with our DPW. I've spoken to Jesse several times about this, you know. We have to make sure that our public safety and our DPW works have the equipment and the people they need. So I did a lot of thinking on this. Heidi was great at giving me the numbers. It's not a popular thing, so I'm gonna say right now, I'm not gonna be the most popular person in town, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure that the town runs smoothly and that the people who we employ have what they need to do their jobs. And right now, the fire department does not have what it needs as far as bodies to do the job. Chief, or deputy chief, whichever one wants to take this. So what I'd like you to do is just go through what we talked about with the calls and how hard it is with where you're going and how many people you have. If you could just back that up so people can hear that.
Dep, I'll jump in. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I do apologize. We're not there in person. So really quick, what we're running into as the town continues to grow, so does the demand for services on the fire department, both on the fire and EMS side. With our current staffing of 6 personnel per shift and the increase in multiple calls that we're seeing at the same time. In other words, we're having 2, 3, 4 calls all come in within minutes of each other. What that ends up happening is we're losing 2 firefighter paramedics now currently on the headquarters ambulance, and then subsequently another call comes in. We lose 2 more firefighter paramedics on the south ambulance. That only leaves 2 personnel to protect the town. We're seeing a steady increase of 4.85% call volume consistently. That was done through Criterion when we did the report this summer on the organization. So that data is there. It's showing. Again, we had a busy year last year of 3,110 emergency responses. So our staffing needs to come up. We're looking for creative ways to keep staffing on the ambulance as well as staff a fire truck appropriately. When both ambulances go out, that leaves a captain and 1 firefighter back covering the town. And that's not safe for the residents, nor is it safe for the personnel for that next emergency call. So we're looking to do the paramedic only program, which we have provided the data for the board to review. We feel that this is a good solution to help us bring staffing up, cover the ambulance more consistently, and also try to get a fire truck covered at the same time.
So that with that said, I think that we have to absolutely look at a way to fund what he needs. And I believe, Chief, what was the cost of that? 800,000?
I'm sorry, Ian, say it again.
What was the cost of that? I think it was 800,000, correct?
If we do the 8 medic positions, we're looking at $825,673.
Right. So my feeling is we need to come up with the money to be able to fund that program. I just think at this point in time, where there is not a stoppage in the growth, there's not a stoppage in people building in town. There is much more in the pipeline coming down. It really frightens me to think of where this is going to go if we don't have the safety personnel. So I had Heidi do out the numbers for that. If we did that amount of money, and it came to, I think that was the amount. Didn't we do that, Heidi, for the 825? So I think it would be 5946.
We did that on 600,000 because originally we thought it was
600,000, and then we did it on
a million.
On the million, right? But we could do it strictly on.
So what's the 2 threshold? What's 600,000?
So 600,000 is $59.46 a year.
1 million?
1 million is,
Almost 102.
yep, 101.92.
So basically $10 per 100,000.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
So about $80 or 85 for 850,000 probably.
And when we talk about those numbers, that's based on the average house in town.
Yes.
Yes.
From the average.
so I guess what I'm saying to the board is I would like to present it to the town. We're not gonna vote yes on it or no on it. We have to present it to the town. And I would like to present an override picture for this program to our residents. And let them decide. You know, they have to make the decision. It's not up to this board to make the decision, but we can bring it forward for the town to decide. And I just think there's no other way to do it. We can keep saying to the chief, and believe me, this is not new. I sat here with Chief Ranieri doing the same thing. Chief Gentili did the same thing. This is not new. And now Chief Miller's back here. Deputy Chief Miller's been around long enough that he knows exactly how many years we've been saying, well, we'll give you this, and we'll give you this, well, we can't afford to do this, so we'll give you one, or we'll give you two.
Mhm.
I think it's to a point where you have all of these new subdivisions going in like crazy. And we have all the warehouses in, that we need to bulk up our fire department and get it up to the levels it should be. Not from, what are the levels at, what would you say the years levels we're at? What are we, like 2012?
So in 2013, and we went to 6 personnel a shift, and we haven't increased since 2013.
There you go. So, I mean, we're at 2024, and we haven't increased till 2013.
And
That's a very, very scary fact.
again, just to confirm, we've seen that 4%, 4.85% increase steadily over the last 11 years.
What was the population like in 2013?
Probably, oh, I can tell you that.
That's why I'm asking.
I know, let me just think, Mike. I believe we were at 15,000, 12, 14,000 maybe. I came on in
We're close
April.
to 17 now.
We're close to 17, and I'm sure we're gonna do well over that next year because of all the new homes.
I have a number of questions if you guys wanna.
I'd like to hear what Chairman Connors asked, but Chief, you know you have my support on this. No matter what we decide to do, I think it's a necessity, and actually I was just telling, and before the meeting, I would like to see a third station. Because we need it. This town is growing. I mean, the response time, I mean, like you said it though, from Blackstone Street, from headquarters. You know, if headquarters is tied up from south to Walmart, what's the response time to that?
I can give you that, Mike. We had a call last Thursday. It was a 13-minute response time from the South Station to roughly that area. Actually, it was to the convenient MD. So right across from Walmart was 13 minutes with lights and sirens at 3:30 in the afternoon.
And if that was a stroke victim, how would they make out?
Not very well.
And that's actually currently happening right now. So we have 2 calls going on in the south. Ambulance is going to Hartford Ave at Charles River Center. So both ambulances are out. One engine is running from one side of town to the other, and once they transfer,
Yeah.
here it comes, we'll be at 2 covering the whole.
And if there's and God forbid, there's a structure fire in the north end of town, and you have to send the engine from south.
Right,
That's not
Right.
good. I assume 13 minutes with something burning.
yes.
And Deputy, correct me if I'm wrong, we ran into this 2 weeks ago Saturday night. The South ambulance was out. We have with a sick patient going to the trauma center. We had reported structure fire on Center Street, which is we had a basement fire. The engine head came out of headquarters, was first due by themselves for 5 or 6 minutes before we saw any additional resources come in.
That right there, I think warrants.
I just think we have to bring it forward. We just can't keep doing this.
I mean, I kind of agree with Mr. Lobashian as well as Mr. Hennessy. Obviously, it's we all here, it's we are in dire needs, this has to be done. And the thing is, how we gonna do it, how we gonna finance it? Obviously, we got some numbers here, and it's I like the idea. You just let the people decide, and then we'll go from there.
But I don't think people are gonna make the right decision because I gotta see the dollar value.
I mean, at the end, we gotta find a way to do it.
Yeah.
It's obviously we cannot band-aid it anymore. Either this way or another way, we gotta find a way to do it. It's at least this will be a right step in the right direction. And that's will be it for me.
So not to take one side or the other, but just to talk through some of the issues that people are going to bring up. I think people are gonna say, well, with all the development, we have all sorts of money that came in. Why isn't that money available? Just
Right.
one standpoint.
Yep.
Chief, if I can just run through some questions with you.
Yes, sir.
So right now, we technically have three ambulances. We have the two that operate, and then we have the one that sits in backup, which is several years old.
So technically, Michael, we're down to two ambulances. The third ambulance, the 2014, unfortunately failed inspection, and the cost factor to put that truck back on the road is money we do not have right now, nor is it going to be money that's wisely spent. So we are down to two ambulances, as Deputy Milo stated. Both ambulances are running steady right now. On Friday, we needed to get those ambulances serviced just for regular PM. And half the day, we were down one ambulance, so we relied on mutual aid at that point to help cover calls in the town of Bellingham.
And what is the cost of an ambulance to purchase? And what is the typical turnover? Is it every 3 years we're buying ambulances?
We're anywhere between 3 to 5 years. We need to reassess that number. We'd like to do closer to the 3-year mark and keep an additional ambulance. So if we do have one that goes out of service for maintenance or repairs, we can backfill it with the spare ambulance. We are looking right now about 525 to 550,000 for an ambulance, and there's over a 2-year wait list right now. So if we were to order one today, we wouldn't see it for 2 years, and that's right from the vendor. And the manufacturer, the cabin chassis that we currently use, they're no longer supporting ambulances. So we have to go back to a Ford cabin chassis.
If we add 2 staff, do we have ambulances to put them on?
The two ambulances that we have now, Michael, will be what they'll be staffing. So they'll be staffing the ambulance out of headquarters. The goal is to run the paramedic onlys out of the headquarters and staff A2.
And if we know that we have the need, what's our status of the ambulance receipt account, and why aren't we placing an order to buy a new one?
The ambulance receipt account, if you remember a couple of years ago, what we did was we decided to put those funds that are coming into the general fund. So there's not a separate ambulance. We have the capital improvement fund that we put money into on an annual basis. Chief, do you have an ambulance on order now?
We do not.
Do not, okay.
I might just,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I wasn't here, so I'm sorry to hear that we did that with the ambulance receipt funds.
Mhm.
Because I think that was a great way
Of knowing.
of knowing we had money to buy our ambulances by using the ambulance receipts. That was, not happy to hear that at all.
Yeah, the problem was there wasn't enough money in there to handle it. So what we started doing was putting money into the capital investment fund, which is pretty much done the same thing. It allowed us to come up with $700,000 for the pumper last year, and it's allowed us to fund some of the equipment that the department needs. So it's just a different app. Mary had brought it up at one point in time, and it does the same thing. It's just
So where are the ambulance receipts going now?
they go in general fund. And then what we do is we appropriate money into the capital improvement fund, which funds
Instead of having
capital items.
an ambulance receipt account,
It goes into the general fund.
but by putting it into a capital, we can draw on that for multiple capital projects
Yeah.
instead of just ambulances.
So we still doing it, and it's, what are the, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump
No,
on.
no,
So
no,
it's, at the end's point, what are the drawbacks, instead of money basically just going to general fund, if we just allocate that money, or if you can find a way, like, the when you guys used to do it? is
Well,
that
we
way?
used to have the ambulance receipts went into the ambulance receipt fund, and
Yeah.
that was how they could fund. the
Ambulance, yeah.
Which I thought was a great way. to
Well,
do
it
things.
wasn't just ambulances, it was public safety,
Well,
we
but-
buy pumpers and
Right,
whatever the department needs, which is.
Probably allowed for more latitude than to
Yeah.
just buy ambulances if you were buying a fire
Right.
engine. That's
Yeah.
I
probably
got another
the-
question.
Actually, Mike had one
Okay,
first. if you
I'm
don't
sorry.
mind.
Chief, that 2-year mark for an ambulance, is that a custom or is that a stock?
It's pretty much a stock, to be very honest with you. There's really not a lot of customization you do on ambulances. Same as the fire truck, we went with the stock pumper this time. The ambulance would be the same. It's really a stock piece.
And I mean, in the meantime, to get that, possibly a third, to get possibly quicker, is there like an overstock that we can, to get one? Like I know some cruisers or some engines you can buy, overstock?
Deputy, correct me if I'm wrong. The last time we spoke with our vendor, he has no overstock, and there's a lot of departments that are in the same situation that we are, that they're behind because of the lag on building the ambulances is 2+ years out. It's a systemic problem, same as we're
Okay.
seeing with the fire trucks.
Okay.
Chief, what is the time frame to roll out the program of having 8 additional paramedics?
Yeah, the budget was 6. Chief, your budget called for 6. I know you've got 2 that you're hiring now. So the total number was 6, when you came before the board.
Correct. So that was the 6/27/23.
627.
So that's where my 600,000.
Yeah, that's what the 600,000
Okay, yeah.
came from.
So you're saying that there isn't the need for,
So you have 2 in your budget now.
That is correct, Ian.
So then if we get the 6, that would give you your 8,
Yeah.
correct?
That's what the number.
Correct.
All right, so we would need 6, so we could go to this.
so just ask the question though, if the 2 were previously in there, there was the intent to roll out to 8, we just put 2 in this budget and the
No,
plan.
there were 2 actually added a year or 2 ago, and it's difficult to hire. The chief and the deputy have been trying to recruit firefighter paramedics. It's not easy, which is what inspired this program. And you actually are hiring 2 or hired 2 paramedics, right?
We're in the
Uh,
process.
In the
we're-
process.
We're in the process.
So the first 2 of the 8 are being hired. Obviously, 2 doesn't make the difference that 8 will make.
Yeah, so.
But,
It was previously approved. It was those 2 was previously approved.
Yep.
So we're looking for 6, that's what the 625 comes in. Am I right? So just
That's
to understand the numbers a little more clear.
Yes, so 6,
Okay.
if the 6 medic only positions that we're looking for would be 6/27/23.
Yeah, so that's where my 600.
So the 2 would not. It's not more prudent to look to get 8 with the other 2 backfilling departures, vacancies, retirements?
From our standpoint, yes, it would. That's a decision I would need from you folks.
So. Is it a bigger discussion of 6 to 8? From where anyone sits?
Not. Not really, I mean, eventually we're gonna need it anyway, you know, just either 6 months or here from down the road, we're gonna eventually need
You're
it.
gonna have to need it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what we're trying to kind of course correction here, right? Is that what we're trying to do? It is obviously, it's not, I don't wanna sound like that. So we weren't able to do it. Now we are behind the ball and we try to do it. And if we're gonna do it, might as well just at least
Go for the 8,
go for the 8.
go for the 8. And then you would be
Never
ahead
know
of
what's
the
gonna,
game.
you never know what's gonna happen.
Chief, just can you touch on what's the reimbursement rates what is our current billing for 2 ambulances and what is the reimbursement rates
So,
broadly?
I'm going off of memory. We've, over the last 3 to 5 years, we roughly we've billed about $5 million. We've taken about 1.2 to 1.3. Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, and that's right around that ballpark a year in receipts. It's about 1.3.
It's about 1.3. The building, obviously, Medicare rate knocks it way down.
Yeah,
But
those are
yeah,
way
it's
down.
about, it's in that range. Heidi, does that make sense to you? Or I don't know if you've looked at it recently.
Thank you.
So it's about a 26%
It's
reimbursement
about
rate.
1.2, 1.3.
1.2, 1.3.
Can you go over again the increase in runs from whatever point in time you're referencing 10 years ago?
Yes, so in 2013, we Bellingham Fire Department went to 6 personnel per shift, opened up the South Station more on a regular basis over the years. We've roughly seen with the data that came out of the study from Criterion about a 4.85% increase. Brings us up to about 3,110 runs this last year. And again, I apologize, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. I'm kind of going off of memory. We were in 2013 right around 1,700 runs. Deputy, correct me if I'm off on that number. So that's where we're going. There's another point I'd like to bring forward just really quickly is with the additional staffing, we're looking to shift 1 more firefighter to the South Station. Currently, right now, we only run a lieutenant and a firefighter out of the South Station. That is one of our higher hazard districts. Deputy and I have had lengthy discussions as well as the union president on the response times to that district, as well as what those two firefighters cover in that district. There's anywhere from 10 minutes that they may be by themselves. And we do know that the area is challenging, you know, streetwise, location-wise, building size. There's a lot of factors down there that we need to start looking. And this, if we do the 8, that will help us get additional staffing to that south station.
So in addition to buying an ambulance, which is inevitable from our capital reserves, and we should get on that soon, there's a need for staffing. Deputy or chief, is there anything else you would add?
No, again, I hope the public's listening. I want to be very honest as the new chief. This is not a want, this is a need. Again, as a resident, I've lived in this town for 23 years. I've seen this town grow. We're going to continue to grow, as Ian said, for a little while longer. The demand for services is definitely there. We need to want, it's not a need, we want to take care of the residents with the increased call volume.
Heidi, financially, any thoughts?
I think it makes sense to put it to the public. It seems like a need that we don't have it within the 2.5% tax levy. So the only way around it would be to bring it to the public and have an override.
And it's logistics as to how this happens.
Yeah, I would talk to the town clerk tomorrow, find out how quickly we have to have a question put together, because it would have to be put on the spring ballot. So
For June.
that would be the first week of June. So town meeting would approve the budget that the board approves. And in the event that the election approved the override a week later, then what we would need to do is amend the budget in November to add those funds. Or if we needed to hold a special, we could, but it'll take the fire department time to recruit firefighters anyway. So likely we could hold off until the November town meeting to put that money into the budget.
So a vote in June, and then it's required at town meeting.
Well, you have to put the money into the budget, so the June override would essentially approve the ability to raise that extra $800,000. We're going to town meeting in May, and we don't have that authorization. We'll only raise what we anticipate collecting. So,
But there are some things that require both a vote and town meeting approval.
right, like a debt exclusion,
Right.
you'd have to, same thing really, because town meeting would have to authorize the debt.
Yep.
And the voters would have to authorize the exclusion of that money from the levy.
But in this case, if it's voted in, all we have to do is vote where to spend it.
Where to spend it, and it can only be spent for the first year of an override. It can only be spent for the purposes it was voted for. So those funds, obviously, that's our intention, but it's not like somebody should stand up at town meeting and say 800,000 was approved of the override, we want 400,000, they go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It can only go to the fire department for personnel, if that's how it's voted at the polls.
Okay. Any more questions? Anything from the audience?
I
Mr.
just
Martinez?
have a question. That 800,000, does that include all of the salaries, expenses, health
Training,
insurance,
uniforms.
training, uniforms, educational
The only thing it
requirements?
does not include, it does include all those things, but the only thing it does not include is our indirect costs, such as health insurance, and we could put that together. Once we put all, I think $800,000 is the number you want to go with. I don't think the fire department will necessarily be able to hire all 7 in 1 year. I think that would be a little ambitious, chief, would you say?
No, Dennis, I would have to say we're going to push diligently to get those done within a year. Seriously.
Okay, within a year, so I guess my point is, if we transition into it, we raise the $800,000 for the firefighters and cover obviously all expenses if we transition into it. And obviously we wouldn't be able to spend that full amount the first year anyway, because November is when we're going to town meeting, and that only covers 8 months, so there would be money there, at least in the first year, to cover all the indirect costs.
Looking down 2 years, though, if you look at our indirect costs, pension liabilities and healthcare, what does that add to that number? Because I don't want to get to the point where we're 2 years out and we're short $105,000.
We can get to that number. Yeah, we can get you that, we can get you the number of what the indirect costs are.
So that, I mean, that would theoretically increase the number.
Yes, it would increase the number. I mean, health insurance is approximately, I think, $2,500 for a family plan. Employees pick up 20%. So you multiply about $2,000 times 8 new employees, you know, at $16,000, and you have some other indirects, pension, et cetera. So it's probably another, I mean, I'd be guessing, but that's your health insurance piece. We can come up with what the true number is, but it's probably in the $25,000.
So if we were to take a vote tonight to move forward to put, anyone watching on TV or looking at a future recording, this is to put it to the voters, not a
Not for us.
endorsement one way or the other. If we were to, I don't believe we can have an open-ended vote for a dollar amount. We have to clarify that. Do we have to have another meeting?
If we're going to move forward, get the question prepared, and get moving on it, I think chances are in 2 weeks, you'll have the actual ballot question. At that point in time, you'd vote to approve the ballot question as presented.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be good to have a firm number so that you're right, so that we can go ahead and prepare it. I mean, theoretically, in 2 weeks, if you.
We'll be in the
we needed
ballpark.
to massage the number, we could. If it needed to be, you could say 825 tonight, and we'll have a hard and direct number for you in 2 weeks.
So that being said, where you brought it to the table, would you like to make a motion to
Yeah,
go at 825 plus indirect cost to be determined?
Will be 800 plus indirect costs, so
Yeah.
25 is what I was saying is the indirect.
so if we do it
And 25,
25.
673 right now.
Mike has another.
Just one more quick question.
Yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Chief or deputy. I know the union's supporting this with all the concerns that you're bringing up, that we've brought up. Do they have any concerns like that?
I have the UP sitting right next to me. Captain Provost.
Mike, can you just rephrase your question again?
All the questions and the concerns, the response time, the safety, everything we brought up tonight. Does the
Yep.
union have any other concerns that they want us to address or take up?
Obviously for us, along the same lines as the chief and the deputy, we're out there on the street, trying to perform these jobs, and having those long response times kind of handicaps our abilities, as well as not having, in my opinion, the appropriate amount of manpower, kind of limits us. We can have all the resources in the world, but if you don't have the manpower to get the job done, they're pretty much useless. So in my opinion, I think starting to add manpower, getting this medic only position off the ground and running is only going to benefit us, and it's going to benefit the town, like the chief said, with what we can provide for the town. So I mean, I would like to see it pass, but again, it's going to be up to the voters. So
Okay. I just wanted to get the union's thought, that's all.
yeah, I mean, we're excited to get this up and going, and like I said, I would love to see the added manpower. But again, at the end of the day, it's going to come down, if you guys vote to get the question out there, it's going to come down to the voters at the end of the day. So,
All right, thanks, Robbie.
Anything else?
Thanks, Cap.
Sound good?
No, no, sir.
I'm gonna make a motion that we bring forward to the voters of Bellingham the question of an override for $825,000, which is to be used to
Roll up the paramedic.
roll out the paramedic only program within the fire department.
Second.
So I think that's gonna be her motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That's all right.
If you want me to
Sorry,
take
that's
it
why
back,
I'm
Mike.
confused.
No, sorry.
Yeah,
I think Mr. Martinez is.
Yeah, may I just ask a question? I'm very much in favor, but thinking more broadly, when you get to town meeting, I think that the board needs to be prepared for the town to ask questions like, well, this is wonderful for fire, but what about police? Is police coming next? And we've also heard conversations in the past about a new fire station in this great location on South Main Street for that. There's also a need to have a new fire station in the south end of town as well. So these are all questions the board needs to be prepared, because there are gonna be some people in that audience, they're gonna ask those questions. And you just need to be prepared for the numbers, because they're gonna say, like you said, Mr. Connor, hey, all this construction that's going on in town, where's that money going? I think the town board needs to be very prepared to be able to, well, or the CFO to be able to say, here's where the income, and here's where we're spending the money, here's leftover, here's why we need an override. And we're thinking forward, the board's thinking forward about police. Police hasn't come to us like fire. I don't know if they have or they haven't.
Yeah.
But you really need to be prepared, because they're gonna ask all those questions of you. If you don't have good answers, it will fail.
I think I can answer that for the record, is that we spoke with the police chief. And he indicated that he did not have needs, that he was comfortable with his staffing, comfortable with his budget. Relative to the discussions about future needs for stations, those are discussions that have occurred and are in the back of people's minds relative to certain developmental projects as
Yeah.
potential mitigation needs, particularly as it goes to the north end of town.
Mike has his question.
But I think to your point.
Well, I don't have a question. I just, if Chief Miller, he has a 10-year plan and everything is mapped out, I think
Yeah.
pretty much to the T. In his plan, I know definitely has been a part of it. It's if it gets to the voters and they have a lot of questions, I mean, I have no doubt that Chief and the deputy will, can point them in the right direction.
And again, as always, it's up to the voters. Yeah, but
Completely
it's
up to
good
the
point.
voters. But I think it's important that the voters, that we're concerned about what is going on, and that this is why we're bringing this forward, that there's a huge need within our fire department. And let's face it, we're an elderly community. Bellingham is very elderly. I'm one. But we have there's a large population of elderly people, and they rely on us, the fire department, enormously. Not to mention with all the growth that's going on. So I think that it's important that we bring it to the people and we say, listen, this is what we need, this is what they need, and this is a safety issue. Pure and simple, a safety issue.
Thanks. Chief, would you plan on doing a slide presentation at town meeting?
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah, maybe something in conjunction with our CFO to.
Yeah.
lay out whatever.
You can take a vote.
Right.
You need to take a vote.
Yeah, first and second. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, votes 4-0. Then we'll recap and
So that goes
discussion.
on the agenda for next meeting too,
We'll
to,
discuss any modifications
on
as
it.
to what the actual
Yeah.
number is, but yes.
We'll have
Yeah.
the portfolio run it by town council to make sure it's proper.
Thanks for joining us, Chief.
Thanks, JC. Thanks,
Thank you,
Deputy.
everybody. Have a good night.
So-
Thank you.
Thanks, Robbie.
So we're back at the point where we got old and new business of the town administrators report.
Okay, and you get the appointment of the facilities manager,
Oh, yes.
facility supervisor, as you know.
Yep. Jesse.
We have a vacancy there. We had 4 excellent candidates from within. We had, we advertised it globally. We had 7 candidates, 3 outside, 4 internal, and all 4 internal candidates were excellent. I had the opportunity to do the second interview with the 4 candidates. You have the director's recommendation of Keith Prey, who is also my recommendation, and Human Resources Investments sat in on that second interview as well. Keith, who is from Bellingham and obviously takes the public drinking water supply very seriously, as we all do, has 5 years' experience in the facilities. Great background, licenses, as you've seen in his resume, holds, all the required licenses. Done an excellent job in the years that he's been here, and comes with my recommendation and Jesse's as well, and Beth's also. So we would look to the board to appoint Keith Spray to the position of facility supervisor. And Keith, tonight, if the board would like to meet him or ask any questions.
I would like to say
Please.
something, if you had a month. I met Keith, and it's obviously when you were at the, behind the stall, booth, remember one day when I popped in?
Yep.
So I gotta tell you, I mean, it was a fantastic conversation. You have all the answers, all the questions I asked. And I heard absolute fantastic things about you. I'm really excited about this actual move. And I wanna point that out. And I spoke to numerous people, everybody's happy, everybody's excited, and great move. Thank you all around.
Keith, I've heard nothing but good things about you. So I've talked to quite a few people, all said the same thing. You're gonna do a great job.
Thank you very much.
Well, I've heard everything good, so I'm not gonna think you're good.
All Tim's.
It's all good.
Don't let it go to his head.
I think directionally, it's a testament to the department as a whole, from the time that Don DiMartino was here and the transition itself, that we have professional public works workers. So, welcome. Not welcome, congratulations, I should say. So we need a,
Yeah,
vote.
I'll make a motion to recommend Keith Prey to the position of Assistant Facilities Operations and Mechanics.
Actually, it's facilities manager.
Or
The type
DPW
position,
Facilities
right?
Supervisor.
Yeah, or manager.
Supervisor?
There's a
Manager.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mike,
Opposed, none, 4-0.
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you for coming tonight, too.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Jesse.
Any old business? I have a few items for new business. Anything old?
No.
What do you,
Yeah.
oh, the abatement, sorry.
Yeah, we can do those under, or what, right now, it's fine, whatever you want.
Do you want me to?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to abate $14,997.91.
Or that was for what, January?
That's for capital sewer, stormwater, trash, water service. This is
January.
That's January.
January, sorry. And then for December is $11.37.
Right.
And the other one is for February, $5,389.28.
Second.
First and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Want me to go with new, or you want to do your report?
I can work through this finance committee capital improvement schedule. We're gonna be meeting Mondays at 5:30 beginning next Monday, so board members can make it, that's great. Fire, police and DPW are going to be before them, starting next Monday. Capital will be the following week. They'll be considering the fire chief's request, the police chief's request.
Is there any reason why they don't combine those, since most of them are on the same committee?
They did it one time, they made their decisions to split them up after.
Just a lot of extra,
It is.
speak the presentation.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
made that conscious decision to split it up. And then everything else we have talked to, the initiative petition, there is a petition that I think you all know about relative to a resident is looking to amend the zoning bylaws to curtail the siting of warehouses. So essentially looking to change the changing the use schedule so that in industrial zones, warehouses would reflect no instead of yes as far as being allowed. I just bring it to your attention so that you are aware of it.
It's a great turnout.
Yeah. Like the sign up, yeah. So if we do get those certified, once we get those certified signatures from the town clerk, the board would have 45 days to schedule a town meeting. So that is the
So there's the potential that that's on our next agenda.
yes,
Yes.
that if in fact those signatures are certified by the town clerk and presented to the board, then that would be 45 days. So it'd be right around the end of April that would be a special town meeting would be required if 200 signatures are received.
Is that something that it can be less than 45 days, or
It can be less than 45 days, absolutely.
the only reason I bring that up is if we do have a vote, April school vacation would have no conflicts at the
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah, it's no more than 45 days is what,
Okay.
I'm sure there's a minimum as well,
Yeah.
but I think it's a
He's
couple of
pretty
weeks.
close to getting the signatures, so I think.
Yes.
That's all that I.
Okay, I just had two things for new business. One, I had asked Tim to do some driving around. I think we have a problem with small residential signs, when the mosquito asphalt tree companies have their signs on people's properties since the work was done last August and September. I think it's an eyesore to the community. And I thought perhaps there was a way that we would utilize a senior tax worker, because Tim showed me pictures of his pickup truck and it was filled just going north-south on South Main Street. And I think there's gotta be some way that we enforce the 2-week requirement.
Yeah, if they're on private property, then you don't have an ability to.
I agree, but
regulate that.
if they're
It's on
5 feet,
property.
if they're 5 feet off the road.
Right, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, if they're on private property, of course, people have a right to put signage on there.
Yep.
We've gone through that before, but if it's in the right of way, absolutely, or if it's on telephone poles or.
Yeah, as I measure it,
Yeah.
if it's between the roadway and where the telephone poles are, there's no doubt that it's in our domain.
Yep.
It's a little messy.
No, it's
25 feet from the center line is how we call it out in that zoning.
Okay,
If they're not properly secure too, it's, I mean, I almost actually hit, but, one of the signs, it's on the last, storm we had. I was driving and then, the next thing, this sign flew, actually, I saw him just come off the ground and then I kind of, went around it, but, just ran over at
Yeah.
the same time too, it's a safety concern too. Make sure they securely, placed.
Yeah, if it's on public
Yeah.
property, there's no 2-week notice, it shouldn't be there. You know,
so it has to be, it's a setback.
Yeah, I mean, if it's on public property, no one has a right to put a sign in that.
Well, so also if, people are putting these signs out, some of them are, people that live in the houses where you're allowed to, if you have a, home occupation, and you're registered with a business certificate, you're allowed a 1-by-1 sign on your hanging from your mailbox if the post office lets you. You're allowed to display 1-by-1, and you'll see several people have them. If you look on Center Street, there's an upholstery guy there. He's got a 1-by-1 sign. A little further down, there's another guy with a 1-by-1 sign. What we're finding now is we collect a lot of signs that are people that have businesses. Their truck is in their driveway, and they have one of those signs. It's not allowed. You can't display a business in a residential zone.
Yeah.
So that's clear in our zoning. So I take those. I keep them for a little while. I have a whole stack of them. If they want to, if someone calls and complains, I say, you want to come get it, come get it. But if you're gonna leave it out there, it's gonna get taken again. The intent for people doing work in town, we give them 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, maybe if they're doing work, that's fine. If they're doing construction and it's clearly that they're doing it, that's fine. That's the intent of it. But beyond that, you see them, I can't collect them all. I mean, that was just South Main Street.
Yeah.
One up, one, south and then north of South Main. That's it.
I think one of the things that happens is, the tree company puts a sign out as part of if you pay me this and leave the sign out, that the resident assumes that the company's going to come back from their sign. And the company doesn't want to because they want to leave it as long as possible.
And a lot of people just leave them there.
Yeah.
We collect.
I take it after a week, throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, we try to stay on top of it. It's hotter in the winter, and it's hard during the day because of the traffic.
Yeah.
It's like, I get out of the car, I got to take my life in my own hands, especially.
Maybe we take something offline to have a discussion as a way to solve it using, someone from the
Yeah.
recycling center
Sure, we
or
can
senior
figure it out.
section workers or something.
I did talk to some people last year. I know you were out about using this, a group of summer DPW workers, taking one street a week and doing cleanup, and they can pick up the signs and everything too. But that's with the kids, taking one of the DPW trucks.
I don't think
And
we
using
should put
it-
an elderly
and-
senior worker out in the street.
That would come out of the revolving fund.
Above.
Yeah.
They'll be hit.
Yeah.
Then we'll be sued
A lot,
because we let them get hit.
a lot of the streets can be hit, on sidewalks. And,
Yeah.
you can have people on sidewalks which just stay doing those types of things as far as parks goes. I hear you on the main drag, and I'm not talking about seniors, I'm talking about, parks with the truck, with the lights, the whole bit, but as long as there's, we take the appropriate safety measures. We don't want people up on, 495.
I know Beth had a concern about the injuries and whatnot,
Sure.
with the workers in the revolving fund. That way, if we take two of the workers, have it come out of the revolving fund because it can't come out of Jess's budget.
Yeah.
Using the truck on the side of the road with the lights, that's why one stays in the truck and one is in front of that truck.
Yeah.
as a shield.
Second item was, and I believe the answer is that it's going to get changed eventually, is the light at Center in South Main.
Yeah.
A couple things come to mind, coming out on Penny Lane by Dunkin' Donuts and even Blackstone Street, that the triggering mechanism is enough to get the first 2 or 3 cars. I found it difficult as I come north on South Main Street, that it seems like you should not have to really wait as often as you do passing toward the VFW, that the timing's gotta be.
They're on it, yeah, they're on it. I experienced the same thing when you see 15 cars backed up on South Main Street for me to get out on. That was the only car and it was,
Or you pull up and there's light green and
Yeah.
there's a bunch of cars waiting, yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Not as bad.
Is that something that?
Oh, yeah, I've spoken with Jesse, gone now, but I spoke with Jesse about that, I think late last week, so he's on it. I mean, we all go through it regularly.
Yeah.
So we know it's a problem, yeah.
Anything else? Yes.
Did you all see the email from Bernadette about the Bellingham Library Strategic Planning Committee? She's looking for 2 members from the select board and she gave the exact dates and times. I don't know if you saw that. I can bring it up to the next meeting or,
I don't think I saw it.
okay, she said the total commitment is 4 hours, 2 2-hour meetings. One would be April 30th, which is a Tuesday, and May 7th from 6 to 8. And
6 to 8 at night?
yep, and they're gonna do pizza starting at 5:30. She's looking to have 1 or 2 members of the select board to serve on the committee so that the work of the town is known.
And you have me at hello.
I don't think it will fit my
I'll-
schedule, but.
I'll go, I don't
I'll
mind.
make it.
Okay,
But it's April what?
so April 30th and May 7th,
7th.
from 6 to 8.
Tuesday nights.
And it's gonna be, I think, at the library.
6 to 8.
So I will let her know that Ann and Mike are on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah, I'll be there.
And you guys stop by.
I'll need lots of coffee.
Just make sure I
You guys
get
can stop
reminders.
by the VFW.
I'll
I
send
know
a
that.
calendar invite, how's that?
Perfect.
Okay.
And the first one's on me at the
Oh,
VFW.
thank
There you go. Right after the meeting.
I can. Business.
Please.
All right, under new business, so, I've met a lot of people lately because I've been sitting with petition, and so they talked to me about a lot of different things. So my first question is, what can we do? Tim, we've already talked about this. A lot of trash in Mr. Martinez's area. He isn't the one who talked to me about it, however. And a gentleman who lives up near the top of Maple Street, who has now put cameras up to catch the one Amazon driver. He's sure it's the same Amazon driver because it's the same beer can and the same nip every day in his yard. And he said, now I'm gonna get on my camera, but he goes, it has to be the same guy, Ann. He said, because I don't think they all drink the same beer and the exact same nip every day.
And he
So,
knows it's coming from an Amazon truck?
coming from an Amazon truck, and he said, I just can't get out there fast enough. And he said, and the Amazon trucks are, the guys are terrible. He said, they're always throwing things out their windows. One of the things that Tim and I had talked about was, getting parts of High Street and Maple Street cleaned, and we thought one of the ideas was to get the landscapers of these companies,
Yeah.
because they all have landscapers. Use their landscapers and have them as part of the good neighbor routine. Clean up the areas and pick up the trash when they're landscaping the fronts of those buildings.
Actually, Mr. Martinez took,
Last year.
yeah, we did last year, and then, it's, Amazon was pretty receptive to it, and then
Yeah,
they did actually 2 days. One day was with the, Coach Haddad and, high school, football kids, as well as Mr. Martinez was on Maple Street, and then they went around the High Street, and then Maple Street, they pick up some of the trash, and they did another day too, I think, it's.
I think we need to
Close to
do it
Earth
again.
Day.
The
Was it Earth Day?
employees did it, the employees did it, and we
Yeah.
worked and set up a schedule for
Yeah.
them last year. And they did High Street. I asked them to go further up Maple, because there's a lot more traffic, but they only went up as far as like Stonehenge. But they did a really good job, and they did it twice during the Earth Day festivities. We wanted them to do it on Earth Day, but they weren't able to do it on the Saturday. But they did it during the week, a Wednesday and a Thursday. And And they did, you know, so Amazon itself had their employees, not their landscapers. They're not gonna
Right.
do that. But their employees, they said they're doing, you just have to get, there's a new operations manager over there. They cycle a lot. You just have to reach out to him or her.
Maybe we can do
and set
that
it up.
too.
So we, recently, put forward a condition on approvals that, there's, money does go into, for cleanup. And we did, I think the first one was the Depot Street warehouse that put some money up, and then we wrote it into the condition of the next, approval, which is the one behind Home Depot, which is monies that'll be, you know, if we could come up with, I don't know, high school kids, or I don't have the answer to it, but, you know, I mean, I think we can figure out something to, use this money to, you know, get people out there to pick up stuff, you know?
Yeah, I mean, even North Main, in that area between Larry's and Mrs.
That's the bad area.
What's her name's house.
Well, I know Vinny has a huge issue with the
Yeah.
Board of Health with the,
We have all
the
the
box.
North Main, from the last house on North Main,
Yeah, and they got,
To Larry's.
Larry's has cameras now.
it's just horrendous.
Yeah, you know what, it's a problem all around town. It's a problem in every town, let's face it.
It is
You
everywhere,
know, we just have to come up with, something that,
a solution.
makes sense, yeah. And, you know, even if it's something small, you know, and just keep at it, you know, and eventually we'll be able to stay ahead of it, you know? Yeah, is that a good idea, that landscapes? Yeah, but, you know, it's something that, you know, it's something that they don't have to do. I mean, we can approach these places and see if they can at least do their area, you know?
Well, that's what
It's
I
not
was.
a bad idea. You know,
Police your own area,
Yeah.
that way.
I know the Board of Health has had, Best Buy and Dunkin' go out and clean, because I know during Earth Day, a couple of years ago, Chairman Forte had so many issues, Tim, with Best Buy and all the trash out there, that he had them go out there and do it.
We literally 65 yellow bags last year from Amazon to the end of Maple Street. 65 yellow bags of trash between my wife and I and a few other seniors, and then half the football team. I had to bring half his team over to Maple and the other half went to Depot. That's how many bags we picked. That's how much trash. And just yesterday, it's now that it's warmer, you really can see it. You gotta get out there before poison ivy. Seriously, because my wife and I pick up a lot. We go down, take the dog, we take a bag with us. You gotta get out there before poison ivy, because once that starts, the whole area is loaded. Nobody wants to go near it. I won't go near it when there's poison ivy.
Right,
It's a mess. It's in the nips. And everyone knows about the bottles filled with urine and all that. And right across from Blue Links, you'll notice, it's not that they're parked there anymore. They used to be, and they're not anymore. But what happens is before they turn in, they're throwing their trash out the window. Because if you go down there tomorrow and just park there, you'd be blown away by the volume of trash. And it's nips, and it's urine bottles, and it's Dunkin' Donuts and cups. Yeah, across the Blue Links, right in that area, it's brutal. That was the worst part last
Right.
year. And the opposite side was, now it's the new building, so there's nothing to throw there, but yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
well, it's just something that.
No question
I've
about
had several residents. And
And
they're aggravated with what's getting thrown out on their lawns and
Yeah.
stuff, especially Maple
But
Street. Maple Street
We
is
get
the
the
big
kids out there
deal
for
that
the
I
first
was
weeks of
talking
that hydrant.
Well, there is a date. Vinny, I asked Vinny what the date was. He said it's posted now. Earth Day is posted, so they're looking for volunteers. So I've already put it out on Save Maple Street. While I was here, we need the volunteers. And last year I was able to get about a half dozen volunteers from Maple Street to clean up. It's an all-day event.
Tim said, you know, it's, we have a fund for that, you know, it's,
Well, it's funded by the business. Towns have to do it for mitigation.
$35,000.
And the other, I have one other, I'm not done, sorry, guys. The other thing that was brought to my attention is Lakeshore Drive. I had, a couple who live on Lakeshore Drive, and they are very, very concerned about how bad the potholes are and the drainage down there. So is it something that we could have Jesse go down and look at?
Yep, it is on the radar. It's, they've been working, designing the drainage down there for some time. So it is one of those projects that is moving along. I can get you an update on where it's at.
I would like to, and then I can call them and let them know.
One resident approached me about, 2 abandoned toilets on Depot Street. Just left on the side of the road.
That's it, that's all I got.
I'm satisfied our agenda. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second.
I'll move in second. All those in favor?
I.
Aye.
Opposed, 8:22. Thank you.